Welcome back, friends, to Divine Feminine Radio, your weekly sanctuary for feminine wisdom in a masculine world. I'm your host, Ronnie Calla, here today with Tamara Rose back in the studio. If you don't know, Tamara has been deconstructing the patriarchy and activating the divine feminine for the last 15 years. She's the founder of the Beyond Human Method and also my sister. Today, we are diving into one of our favorite topics, personal care, self-care, how the patriarchy gets in the way of our personal care and self-care and how we relate to it, all the limitations that come with it, and us expanding and up-leveling our self-care. Tamara, how do you feel about this today?
Well, I mean, I love my self-care. Love me some self-care. So let's dive into it. Let's sprinkle a little magic for all of our listeners.
Let's do it.
I think sometimes people are like wildly amazed at what I do for myself. So like, yeah, let's share a little magic.
I was gonna say, you are the number one person that embraces self-care. The way that you structure your schedule, the way that you tend to yourself and your needs, taking a bath at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I have never seen someone do self-care like you, and I feel like you are the best person to interview for this particular subject. So
Wonderful.
let's do like a little rundown of like what
Sure.
your self-care looks like right now. You
Okay.
wake up at what time? Without an alarm. At what time?
I mean, it really depends on the day. So my daughter's here right now, and so I have her this week. So either I'm waking up like whenever I want to wake up, or when she this morning it was 7:30, and I think I like, you know, I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. Could be the 4 a.m. club, it could be a 3 a.m. download, it could just be an activation of like it could be anything. They also say like perimenopause, sometimes that starts to happen. I don't know. Anywho, I woke up a little bit, but I went right back to sleep, and I woke up when she woke me up at 7:37. I was like, Alexa, what time is this? What are we doing right now? It's 7:37. Okay, fine. So I give her a little grace because she's with me, so she gets to kind of wake me up too. When she's not here, I wake up whenever I wake up. So it could be 5 a.m., it could be 6 a.m., it could be 7 a.m., it could be. So I really love going to sleep around 9:30, 10. I have like an entire ritual at night that I'm super in love with now. And so I'm like zen as fuck. I'm like super chill. So by the time I go to sleep, I'm out. Oh, there is no, I mean, unless there's like random shit that happens. Sometimes random shit happens. When you're connected to the ether, sometimes random shit happens in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So wake up whenever you want without an
Yeah.
alarm. Midday bath almost every day, I
Yeah.
believe.
And then this morning, like, we're training Cece in some exercise. She's doing online school. So that too, for me, kind of plays into all this too, because I want to teach her rhythms, her cycles, her self-care, like what works for her. I want to like kind of get her out of some of this patriarchal like hustle culture as well. So I'm a big fan of also like training her. So like this morning we did, 15 minutes of stretching together so she can get her yoga on for 15 minutes before she starts into her studies, and so yeah. And then usually it is around 3 or 4, I am like itching for a bath. I want my whole body submerged in, and this bath is like turned almost ridiculous. Like there's magnesium flakes, Epsom salts, baking soda, lavender, and rose. And the fascinating thing is I've been doing lavender, baking soda, and Epsom salts for like years, like probably 7 years. Okay. And I recently introduced rose because I love me some rose. And then I
Tamara
recently
Rose loves Rose.
so wild. And then I introduced magnesium flakes because it's also another detoxing process. And like, it's so funny when I do how much Epsom, I mean, I will use an 8-pound bag, Epsom salts. I will use quarter of a bag, just
Oh
throw it
my
in there.
gosh.
Yeah. And like, what I also found out is lavender and rose are the two highest frequency oils for the body. And I was like, oh, okay. So intuitively, you already know that, right? Baking soda is a detox. Epsom salt is a detox. Magnesium flakes are also like, this is like a super jolted detox. So yeah, around 3 o'clock, I'm like,
Time for
I
that
no longer
detox.
I no longer want to be doing this, whatever else I'm doing. I want to be in the bath, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it's not every day, but I mean, it's a good number of days.
Mm-hmm. Majority of days.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I know because I will call Tamara needing something for work, and I'll be like, "Hey, can you look over this thing?" She's like, "I'm in the bathtub. I can't do nothing."
No worky worky right now. I will circle back after I feel better.
Yeah. So the level in which you prioritize yourself, your time, your energy is to the next level that I've never seen anybody else really do before.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how that journey has looked for you over the
Mm.
last, let's say, 10 years, you starting your personal growth journey and now like where you are and how you've tended to
Yeah.
your energy, your body over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, if we circle back even a little bit before that, like 2009 was when I quit my job. So I was really in hustle culture and corporate world. You know, I was driving all over Southern California, very little awareness of
Mm-hmm.
my body, awareness of energy, awareness of self, awareness of what I needed. And I think that if we were to identify patriarchal culture and structure, I think that is patriarchal culture and structure. We place a lot of focus on doing, not being. When you start to come out of that and you're shifting into being, you can start to feel things that your body may need. You can start to like integrate a little differently. And so I think that's the important juxtaposition that starts to
Mm-hmm.
happen. And so then when I shifted, I quit my job, I was traveling. I was couch surfing. I started, I'm like, then it became meditation. So meditation was the first thing to like heighten my awareness. And in the heightening of my awareness, then you start to become more attuned again, next level of like, what does the body need? Or what am I feeling? Or what is this thing happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can kind of go back and I can think of having my daughter was the biggest change. I mean, first of all, I was strung out. I was
Mm-hmm.
exhausted. That bitch did not want to sleep for 11 months. It was, for those of you who don't know, it was 3 days of labor, not
Mm-hmm.
like 3 days of contractions. And people are like, get lots of sleep before the baby comes. And I kept hearing that while I was like in labor and I was like on day 3 and I'm like, well, fuck all those people because they didn't get this one.
Uh-huh.
It's like, Jesus Christ. And then, um, and then something really interesting happened, which was, I think this was intuitive. I started focusing on like, what does she need to sustain her nervous system? And I might not have known that that's what I was doing or that's how I would articulate it. But I
Mm-hmm.
just realized I was like, look, she can fall and she can waffle through failures and she can do different things, but like what I'm interested in is her feeling secure, her feeling and knowing she's loved. And like for me, it was like nervous system. And so I would watch and I read all these books about sleep. So sleep became my number one obsession with her because I couldn't get her to sleep. I couldn't figure out to how to like she still, if you let her, she'll rage until like 2 a.m.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. She's like, "Ns, ns, ns," and then she'll be a raging idiot the next day and like meltdowns and upsets and it's like, oh, so I noticed with her, this was kind of in like an unknown experiment. If she was fully rested, she didn't have meltdowns.
Mm-hmm.
If she was exhausted, she would have meltdowns. And so I was like, huh, that's really fascinating. Like, PS on the same. So like,
Oh,
same P.
same. Same. It may be a human thing. It may be an RDNA or maybe a human thing. I don't know.
Like, if I'm exhausted, just wait. I'm going to bust out crying about nothing in about 20
Yep.
minutes. And I'm
Yep.
just like uncontrollable and you can't stop. And then you can't sleep because you're so exhausted. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a
Yeah.
weird cycle. And so then I just started noticing with her, okay, So it's, if there's an upset, knowing that she's like connected emotionally and like has support and a hug and love and like it's okay. And even if I was to like be stern with her and strict, I would like be super calm and I love you. So I was like, I could discipline, I guess would be the word, discipline her, but still have her nervous system be fully regulated. And then if her sleep was fully regulated, like all of a sudden she was an easy human. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, so it's just asleep. Like that became the non-negotiable. And you should have seen people when she was a baby tell me what I should be doing and how I should. And I was like, you don't have my kid. And they're like, well, she'll eventually sleep. Like the advice was like, let her go until she drops and she will eventually sleep. And I was like, maybe for other people, but that bitch won't sleep.
Uh-huh.
So then in that, I think what happened was noticing her, like regulating her system with a night. She has a nighttime routine that I have been doing with her. Well, she's 9. So like what, 10 full years?
Yeah.
Like 9 full years? You know what I mean? Like I've been doing that every day of her life when I have her. And it's consistent every night. And so now her body is like, oh, this is what it takes to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like magic. So there, we don't have that crazy night, can't get to sleep kind of deal. And so for people who have kids, like if you want to know what it is for Cece, it's she always has a bath. And look, this becomes, if you want self-care and you want to regulate your system and you want to be calm and you want to be connected to the divine, it's no different than my 9-year-old. It's like the same for me, right? So sometimes I might have a bath in the afternoon, I might have it at night, and then I might end with another shower or something. But for her, she gets a bath. There's no more screens. She can listen to music so long as it's Mozart, Beethoven, or Bach. Like she can choose, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be classical. And there's no dancing. There's no, like, it's a winding down of the body. All of the lights in the house are on a low, like dimmer watt percentage, and they're all 27 kelvins or higher. So that's like real orange. So we took out all the blue light, right? No blue light. I mean, I'm telling you, you get in this vortex and you want to go to sleep. So it's like, like super sleep inducing over here, you know? And then, you know, so she does all that. And then I read her a chapter out of a book. We meditate for 5 minutes. I usually, it's like 5 minutes. And I'm like, that was like 85. Like,
Mm-hmm.
lose track of time. Sing her a song. I leave and she's done. I put my, like, that puts my ass to sleep, by the way. Like, and I leave her room 8:30 to 8:45. So I'm ready. I'm like, I leave her room and I'm like, well, I'm going to have, maybe I'll have a cup of tea if I can muster up the muscle to like have a cup of tea. But the thing I started doing now, this one's rad. So I got this really long heating pad and it goes on one of my really long pillows. And then I lay my back on that. And then I meditate while I'm laying. And so it heats my spine and it relaxes everything in my spine. And again, I do that and it's like, okay, maybe 15, 20 minutes into it. And I like pull myself out and then I like turn everything off, roll over and go to bed. It's like amazing. So that's my nighttime. Super chill. But there's like, we don't have TVs in the house. Nobody's watching TV. We're reading books if we're reading, you know, there's no screen time. Like it's, and that gives you the best sleep ever, man. So I woke up, I think I got 9, 10 hours of sleep last night. I woke up like, oh yeah. Of course to her, you know,
Yeah.
let's party. Let's open up all your
As
windows.
soon as she wakes up, yeah.
Oh, she's made her bed. She's now in my room, opening up all the windows, and she's like, let's rock and roll. And so, you know, I also think about this as like, how am I going to prepare her for being an adult?
Yeah,
This is
for
her
sure.
routine now. That's just not going to change.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you getting really interested in Cece's routine and sleep and nervous system also had you learn for yourself, like what works for you, and
Yeah.
then being able to apply, oh, this works for Cece, oh, this works for me, and then also now teaching our clients like nervous system work, being able to apply it to other humans.
100%. So it was this wild experiment. I had no idea I was doing. I had no idea I was unpacked. You know what I mean? And it really was like, I just remember somebody being like, what do you focus on when you're raising your kid? And I was like, very little, I feel like. I feel like it's just her nervous system. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, and that allows her to be freed up to explore, to find her path and be a little leader. It's exciting. For all of those raising a female leader, little girl.
This is what it looks like.
Good luck to us. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck do you want, you little crazy human? What are you demanding of me in this time? You know.
Oh my gosh.
I
was going to say, I remember a few years ago, because we didn't always teach nervous system work. It started maybe 3-4 years ago. And it was the one client that asked, like, what do you focus on with your kiddo? And it was the nervous system and getting really interested in that. And I think that's what really sparked the living beyond burnout and living the slow life work to to give people the nervous system work and what to focus on and the things to implement. And I'm curious, when it came to all of the little things to implement and the experimentation process, like how did you come up with these bits and pieces to implement for yourself and for CC? Because it's not just the nighttime wind down routine. It's like taking off the shoes when you enter the house, and it's like the lights and like all these little details of how you live life.
I think it was tuning in because there would be like a drastic contrast of me going in, like, let's say I was dating and I would go over to a boyfriend at the time's house, and or I was traveling and I was in a hotel, right? And I would or I would visit something. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, there's these moments where you get taken out of your biosphere and then get put somewhere else, and there's a drastic contrast. And because I've been meditating for so many years and I'm so conscious and I'm so present and I'm so aware all the time, that's then what has this like awareness I move into. And I started having all these realizations, like if I went back to 23, my first job in real estate, and I was working for this agent, and he would send me out. I remember it so clear. He would send me out to Office Depot, and I would walk in, and it was like, zzz, like
Oh, those lights are so bright.
They're bright, they're awful, but there was a reaction. My nervous system was happening. I couldn't articulate it then, but I knew I had like a headache and I kind of felt nauseous in a way. And so to this day, if I walk into, like, it can be Office Depot, Office Max, Staples, maybe it's a Walmart, depends, like big buildings where they have
fluorescence.
Yeah. If I'm in there more than 5 minutes, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to vomit. And I'm like, wow, that's literally your nervous system. So the nervous system is the all of your nerves running through the body in every single area. And basically it's receiving information. So the information it's receiving at that time is so taxing, it makes me want to vomit. That's my knowing that something's really off, right? So, and this is a fascinating thing because I want to talk about ADHD and ADD because I think it's all connected. You know, so then it's like, okay, if I go stay, let's say, if I have to stay at a hotel or I need to stay in another place and I can hear the outside freeway noise, I'm constantly, like, even if it's not conscious, even if it's not super loud, the body is trying to process another layer of information. And so it's like in my house, like I am blessed to have designed my life the way I have designed it, which is I live in the mountains, and every person who's been at my house, every single one, first of all, they're like, man, it feels so good in here. they don't know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's no noise, there's no lights, there's no EMFs, there's no, like, I could go through a list of all the things there's not. And the only response that people would be is like, God, I'm so, like, it feels so good. I feel so calm. And then they stay the night and they're like, I got the best night's sleep. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, is it the bed? I'm like, I don't think it's I don't think it's the basement bed. Like, my bed's way better than that bed, but it's like literally everything else, right?
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about the nervous system, that it's just receiving information literally from head to toe, and if you're tuned in and you keep kind of tweaking and you keep readjusting, you'll find that. So when I started to really teach it, it was like, okay, well, what do I do? You know, it's like, well, there's no shoes in the house, so we don't have any like exterior toxins right in the house. And then you're like, okay, first thing I do, or you know, every night before I go to bed, I definitely have PJs or like loose fitting clothes, so my body's not feeling constrained all the time. You know, there's a bath, the lights are set, there's like a routine to like put you into sleep. I also live in an amazing place where like I get to look at the stars every night. So like I sometimes have tea and sit on my back porch and like stare at the stars. Or
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes if I wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep, I'm going to go look at the moon on the other side of the house and like sit and like stare at Luna. You know what I mean? So like there's all of these layers that go into it. And it kind of feels like going back to like the 1800s, if you will, like where you
Mm-hmm.
have candles and you're connected to nature and there's not cars outside. You know what I mean? Like it's this
Yeah.
weird.
Back to basics without the technology and the screens and the things in your face.
Yeah.
The
100%.
stimuli.
All the stimuli. Yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it really has. I mean, even from when I say, even from when I was a kid.
Well, even when I was a kid too, I know there's a big age gap. When I was a kid, we still had flip phones.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I was a kid versus kids nowadays is very different. And I grew up in that transitional, I mean, we both had like a transitional time with
Yeah.
technology, but in different
Mm-hmm.
ways. So
Yep.
like for me, it was flip phones to then BlackBerry to then smartphones, and laptops and computers were like newer things. And my generation learning the internet and parents not really knowing the internet yet,
Yeah.
or the limitations to put on the internet. And
Right.
so it was like a really weird time for that. But
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. Like learning all the stimuli
Yeah.
that we that has entered the reality over the
Yeah.
last like 20 years if you look at it.
I mean, I would say 30 years. Yeah. Because I was trying to like
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint, but I would say definitely like in the last 30 years. So when I was a kid, you know, I mean, my daughter was like, Mom, I want to be a latchkey kid. I'm like, what?
What is a
You know,
latchkey kid?
oh, that's what my generation was called because, I don't think this happened when you were a kid. So, fuck, this is so funny. Okay, so I'm considered an elder millennial. That would be my generation. And so our parents would be like, you can go out and play, don't stay in the house, and come back at dark. That was like
Mm-hmm.
the rules, right? And we drank out of hoses. Our parents
Mm-hmm.
didn't know where we were. Like my mom would just go out. This is how I know how to whistle. She would go out of the house, two fingers in the mouth, that like ear piercing whistle, and I knew to get my ass home. And that was it. They had PSA announcements every night around 10 o'clock, Ronnie. And it said,
Do
do
you know
you
where
know
your
where
kids
your
are?
children are? Yes. Do you know where your kids are? And that was to remind parents to get their fucking kids back in the house. And you're like, what? And so a latchkey kid was like a kid, like I would take the bus or walk home from school. I had a key, latchkey. I had a key for the house, let myself in. Nobody was around. And so we would do fuck all. Like I
Mm.
would trampoline, jump off of a roof, we would hurt ourselves. We would dance in the rain after school, and we would change our clothes. You know, we would skip school and get in trouble because it didn't matter anyway. Nobody was around. You know, it was
Uh-huh.
the wild, wild west was essentially what it was. And so you just go like, that was a latchkey kid. Now my kid is like, I want to do that because I want to come home and not have parents here, and I want to eat cereal. I was
my God.
Whatever, she's 9. And so like when you think back, yeah, there were no cell phones. Everybody had the landline. There was no like other way to get a hold of people. So you just had like, you were more present to get in trouble mostly, but like, like that was life. And, we weren't interested in like, longevity light bulbs. So everything had the warm lights that use a lot of electricity, but like that was cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say I've seen a couple videos about the way community has shifted from those times till now, because back then you could knock on a neighbor's door and like not expect anybody and be like, oh hey, like come in. You would go up and answer your door before Ring cameras too, right? And it'd be like a fun surprise. People just come over, pop in, like hang out, come out in the backyard. But now if someone goes up to our door, we're like, who is there? I'm not expecting anybody. I'm gonna text you when I arrive at your house. I'm not gonna knock on the door. And if somebody comes over and doesn't tell you and it's unannounced, it's like, why would you do that? It's like discouraged. And so it could be thought, I guess, is that there's less community or there's less connection that way, because you can't just like pop in and like hang out, and there's less like neighborhood community like.
Well, it's just the expectation that you're on your device all the time. So like, why are you doing something and not notifying on your device? Everybody has the device. Everybody's on the device. Why are you not notifying via the device? Yeah. And if I sent you a text, you should have read it, because I know you got that device next to you all the time, Yeah. But I think there's also another thing, like community, the degradation of community, if you will, is part of the patriarchal structure. The patriarchal structure is also highly perpetuated by consumerism. And so like, this is where it's mom and dad in the house, or mom or dad, but like, you don't have grandma and grandpa in the house. Like that's not not in US culture. If you go out to Asian culture, sometimes that's different. Mexican heritage and culture, that's different. But if we're talking like of European descent, white culture, like that's typically very much frowned upon. And what is like expected for people to do is we have like our family in our house. It's not extended family. And then everybody, and this is like the funniest thing, because somebody said this once and I like resonated so with me. I live in a mountain town where it snows. There's snow on the ground 6 months or more out of the year. Okay. We get snow and we get summer. We get a little hint of spring, a little hint of fall, but like that's it. And so if you think about it, if we have a yard, literally I'm mowing my yard, or somebody's doing it. I don't do it twice a year. And it's at the spring when it gets a little long, and maybe at the end of fall, right before the snow comes. And yet every one of my neighbors is supposed to have their own lawnmower. Now that's a wild concept, because you're like, everybody needs to own their lawnmower, stow it in the off season, like maintenance it, pay for it, and like do all that. But literally, if the community got together, we could have like one lawnmower, and like everybody would just fucking like borrow that shit and like maintenance it out, and it would cost almost nothing. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's like the consumer. So you see it in the framework of family, or how family is made, or how family is supposed to do things, like and also, like I was talking to my ex-husband, because my daughter's being online schooled, and his mom's coming in town next week to visit her. And he's like, well, we have to get all the schoolwork done before she comes. I'm like, she fucking likes teaching shit. Let her sit next to the kid and teach her some shit. You know? I'm like, why are you having her stress out and complete when grandma's coming? And well, she could do some work with that. That sounds amazing, actually, for everybody involved, right? Yeah. And the same thing, Cece was doing art today, and I'm like, her other grandma is really into art. I was like, you should FaceTime with your Grammy, show her your art, and like different ways to get connected into the extended family, because like ultimately that's where matriarchy is going. Like a matriarchal system is going back to. But that's also where we thrive as a community as a whole. Like my neighbors love it if see honestly, my kid, if she's going over to your house, nobody's texting. Like she's just showing up. She's like what the fucking Mr. Wilson? What was that? The little kid?
Rob.
No, Mr. Maybe that was the name of the thing. Mr. Wilson. No. The little boy that was like such a pain in the ass that always went to his neighbor. Was it Mr. God damn it.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Anyways, it's just like that. So she's just, she just goes over to all the neighbors and she'll just be like, hi, can I jump on your trampoline? Or like, hi, can I play on your piano? And I let her, because I'm like, they didn't tell me no yet.
Yeah, that's true. Just let her figure it out.
There you go. Cute. So I know we were talking about the nervous system and CC, but in community and patriarchy, but I think it's all in some ways connected.
Thanks so much for listening. Real quick, if you've resonated with anything we've said so far or had any new insights, chances are someone in your circle needs to hear this too. Think about that gal that's ready for her next breakthrough, to step more fully into her divine feminine. Your share could be the catalyst for her transformation. You got your person? You sent it to them? Okay, cool. Let's get back to the episode. Yeah, it's totally connected. And I like that you said consumerism. The patriarchy thrives off of consumerism, I think is how you put it. And I think I would love to expand on that, because when we look at tending to our nervous system and personal care, for example, like all of the things that block us or limit us from tending to ourselves, tending to our needs, like all of that stems from, you could say, consumerism and patriarchy. And I'd love to talk about like the things that get in the way of us pursuing our personal care and tending to our nervous system. So when it comes to consumerism and patriarchy and how they're connected, can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, patriarchy is a father in charge, not mother in charge, right? So it's a man going to tell you what to do and how to do it. And so you have the governments, being told what to do and how to do it. I think the one thing that pops in my mind is I remember when the Twin Towers, when 9/11 happened and we had the Twin Towers fall, and the United States was in crisis, dealing with and mourning and crisis, and like, oh my God, if that was something that was happening at one of my events and I'm in charge of the room and the people, I would let people mourn and cry and move the energy and feel the feelings. The directive from the government, and this is a fascinating thing, the directive from the government was, we won't let them stop us from being who we are and doing what we do. So get back out there and buy. Get back out there and do. And that for me, it was really, because it was really wild. I mean, I was in college, I was watching it. I know you were just born.
Baby.
Yeah.
I don't remember it specifically, but I was born.
It was like Bush saying, they can't stop us from continuing with our day and buying it was a buy message. It was very weird. I think if people remember, and if you remember, I mean, I remember it, to a place where what would have been appropriate as mourning. And so you could see that patriarchy is all about doing, producing, right? And that's what, and by the way, that's what men are really good at, is doing. Women are really good at being connected, providing insight. Women are really good at problem solving. I know that we were told that men can load a dishwasher and load a car. I have yet to see that in real time. I have yet to see a man outload my dishwasher or outload my car. That thinking that they're so logical, and that I'm like, that I don't see no shit.
They
Okay.
can carry all the groceries and the boxes and shit, but the women
Yes.
got to be the ones to tell them it goes here, and this is how you do the Tetris, because they're the
Yes.
ones that can see it.
Yes. So there's like this problem solving, and there's this bigger picture that women are part of. And patriarchy is more like on a do, like you're going to produce, there's an action. Let's see, like, if a woman's having an intuition and you can't see it in reality, we're not going to do it, right? Or if you
Mm-hmm.
think about how we do money, you have to have it in your bank account in order to buy something. That's not actually how money works. It's an energy. And so, like, we screwed the pooch. You know what I mean? And so there's this amazing, like, disconnect, if you will. So patriarchy
Mm-hmm.
is like, do, go, prove your value, prove your worth, prove your that's just, we're dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just, we need
Yeah.
something else.
It's it's bypassing the emotions that are there as
Mm-hmm.
well, is what it
Yeah.
sounds like. And it's interesting the message that Bush put out after 9/11. I didn't know that specifically with the
Mm-hmm.
buying. I do remember hearing with the community how much the community banded together after
Yes.
9/11, like
Yeah.
supporting each other, caring for each other, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I
Yeah.
do remember the message of getting back out. Remember hearing, not experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
but hearing, like, get back out and get back to normal. And
Mm-hmm.
that being a prideful thing to
Yeah.
say, like, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just getting back, like, I'm getting back to normal, and this is a good thing, that we're
Yeah.
not focusing on our emotions, we're not focusing on mourning, we're not focusing
Yeah.
on what might be there. And I think that's something we people still do today,
Mm-hmm.
is wear it as a badge of honor that, oh, I'm
Exactly.
back to normal, or I'm not letting this keep me down,
Yeah.
even when we haven't fully processed the emotions that are there for us.
Yeah. And that's because we've made it normal to do, and go. So if we're looking at
Mm-hmm.
self-care, for me, self-care is the pause.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is the connected to higher self, connected to myself. Self-care is like a deeper communion with my higher self. Hold on.
Take that sip of tea.
Hmm. It's the communion, it's the reverence, it's the honoring of the divine, and it's the opting out of the go, do. So if you're in the cycle of go, do, and you don't like patriarchy and you want to change the system, but you still go, do, you're stuck in the rat race, you're stuck in the hustle, then you're actually aligning in the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're aligning in that perspective, that is the right perspective, and that's what we should be doing. You're aligning everything in that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like imperative. If you want to change, if you want patriarchy to crumble, you got to get out, you got to get your system out of that structure. You got
Yeah.
to get yourself out of the structure. So
100%.
yeah, so it's like this wild concept of like, this is the other thing. We think we'll change the structure once patriarchy's gone.
Mm.
But it is our job to change how we function so the patriarchy leaves.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, I have seen people that want to be done with the hustle, want to be done with the
Mm-hmm.
9 to 5 and the patriarchy clock, if you will.
Yeah.
They quit their jobs and they just avoid it and opt out altogether, rather than, like, quit job and then do nothing, rather than
Mm.
doing something different, like
Right.
avoiding it and
Yeah.
doing the same but opposite, rather than
Yeah.
doing something different. Does that track?
Yeah, that tracks. So if we look at self-care as an access to activating the divine, because the divine is honoring of, like, divine feminine. If we want to live in a divine feminine reality, it's honoring of women, honoring
Mm.
of higher self, honoring of that. So if I take a bath in the middle of the day, I'm honoring my body's needs, my desires, my wants. I'm honoring that that's what serves my higher self and puts me in a chill state. I'm honoring that I know on the other side of that, I'm going to be like a better human because of it. I'm honoring all of that. And that's just by taking a bath in the middle of the day. I'm also like disrupting the paradigm. I'm disrupting like the whole thing. If I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go treat myself to a week-long all-inclusive vacation around the holidays because I don't have my kid, then I'm looking at like, what does myself want? Not how much can I afford? No, every time I do something and I up the ante, my butt puckers and I gotta like, I go into another like tax bracket, if you will. But there's like, so there's internal work that's happening for sure. But I know that if I'm like, okay, well, my kid's gone and I want to have a staycation, so I'm going to go over to the Courtyard Marriott. It's not my jam. Bless all of you who do Courtyard Marriott. It's not my jam. Then I know I'm settling. So then I'm not honoring the higher divine, right? So like all of these things go into the process of honoring. Like, you know, the first time I like stepped in and I paid for a program that was $10,000. That was like a big deal because I was spending it on myself. Because like if Brian wanted, my ex-husband, if he wanted to do something, it'd be fine. My kid needed something, sure. You know, and this was before I had kids, but like I remember I was with Brian and I was like, this program's $10,000. And it took me a long time to execute. And he's like, well, if you think you should do it, you should do it. But I was like, la, 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 la. Because I was spending it on me.
Yeah.
So it's like all the things that would honor me is honoring the divine. That is like, again, if you want to activate the divine feminine, put yourself forward. Stop centering a man's opinion. Stop centering a man's perspective. Stop centering what a man thinks you should do. And I do this all the time when I have clients come in and they're like, I really want to work with you. And they have a spouse and they're like, well, I'm going to go check with my spouse. This is my question. Are you asking his opinion on should you do this? Or are you are you saying, hey, I really want to do this? Like, are you going to get my back on that? It's a different perspective, you know, and even just breaking that down when people come into work with us is like, that can be mind opening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you breaking that down, especially with, I think there's two parts to it, because the first thing I thought of was the access to like being accessible all the time. And I can't remember what you were saying, but when you take care of yourself in a particular way and you honor your time and your energy, you are then not allowing yourself to be accessible to everyone, anything, all the time. Yeah. So when you're taking a bath at 3:00 in the afternoon, when you're taking a vacation, a week-long vacation for yourself, when our phones are created for us to be accessible to everyone, anything, anywhere, to be able to turn that off is honoring yourself in a particular way as well. Yeah. Like not being not at the effect, but like at the beck and call of anyone that's there.
Yes.
And the second thing, I think it was about the consumerism, what you were saying, but I can't, it left my brain. Maybe it'll come back later.
Okay. And just so people know, like if my daughter's here and I'm like I set her up, I'm going in the bath. Do you need anything before I plop my ass in there and check out? No, mommy. Then she, predictably, she'll come in. Mommy, I'm like, no. You have had access to me all day. This is neither the time nor the place, kiddo. I will circle back when I'm all done. You can figure it out. Whatever there is. You are a smart woman. You can go figure it out. Not now for me, though. Not now.
Yeah. The second thing I remembered when it comes to spending money or spending time on yourself, how difficult that feels to prioritize ourselves versus our kids or our spouses,
Yes.
where it's like, I'll spend all the money in the world on my kids. I'll spend all the money in the world on my spouse because I want to spoil them and I love them and I want to shower them. But then we look at it for ourselves and it feels so hard and so difficult.
That is patriarchy. That is patriarchy. How do you justify spending money? And if you can spend it on your male spouse easily, your children easily, but you bypass yourself, that is the programming. The programming of the patriarchal systems that have been around forever is like women's time and energy is everybody else's. We are a resource that serves men, children, the household, everything. There was a study, there's a study, I think you can go, I think they said like salaries.com, and you can put in like stay-at-home mom, I think. And if you put in cooking, cleaning, taxi service, therapy services for everybody in the house, nurse services, the salary that stay-at-home mom should be making is $184,000. So for women to continue to give and give and give, and if we were to stop or get paid for what we were doing, literally the entire system, our economic system and structure would crumble because men have been relying on that unpaid labor for so long that if they had to pay for the labor, the whole system would fall apart. And so if you just think about that a little bit, it's like, I should be making $84,000. Yeah. So if you are a woman who does stay at home or is working from home, or you have a job outside the home, but you come home and you do some of the things or whatever, if you're the one that's being leaned on, you're upholding that patriarchal structure of the unpaid labor. If you feel guilty because you're like, well, I want to do this thing for myself or whatever, think of you got a pot of money about $84,000. Just be like, I'm going to take a draw on that and go on a vacay. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you can think about this in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Girl math it out.
My girl math is strong. I can take calculus in college and now I can apply it to my girl math. It's amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. And when it comes to the patriarchal structure and the way that it's been set up, I think you said it beautifully, which is like women have, man, you'll have to go back and listen to the recording because I can't put it into words again, but the way that women have been a resource for men for so long. And because of that, when we want to prioritize ourselves, when we want to prioritize our time, energy, we then have to overcome something. It goes against the structure. It goes against the way we've been taught, not just in society in our lifetime, but generations and generations and everything that's in our cells and our energy and our being.
In the cells, in the DNA, in the muscle memory, in the cell memory, in the energetic makeup, we have been trained to put everybody else first. The second you're going to want to put yourself first, you're going to be like, nope, can't do it. You'll just bypass that whole module with us. You know what I mean? You'll just be like, yeah, I kind of did it. How many times do we have a client? I kind of did it. I'm like,
yeah,
the fuck are you paying me for kind of? Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Let me pay you money and I'm going to kind of do it, you know? And you're like, no, man, this is just as important as everything else we do. Because we need to unwire you from the like knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I'll get to me later. No, fucking do it now. Yeah.
And so because it's so ingrained in our cells and our energy and our being, when we try to overcome that, it feels either difficult, like going against the grain, or we feel guilty or shameful that we're going against the grain and we're not doing what we've always been taught or what's been in our cells for so long. So it can be a big disruption to the system, especially if it's not something that you've been taught or trained.
The shame and guilt is from patriarchy and it keeps you in your lane. So every time you feel shame and guilt, that's a patriarchal ping, like bing, shame and guilt, bing. It's like, you got to get your Wonder Woman bracelets on and be like, bing, 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 shame and guilt. Go like fucking take that one back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shame and guilt for what? For existing, for caring for ourselves? I mean, look, I remember my ex-husband was a stay-at-home dad, not a great one. We divorced, okay? And like was like, I need a vacation. I need to go surfing. That ass hat. He wasn't like, oh, I feel guilty for asking. He was like entitled. And there's this male entitlement that like runs around. Now, mind you, my response was like, then fucking book a surf trip. Like, why are you talking to me about this? Like, there's money and like, do I need to plan it out now? Like, what are we doing? Like I was so disgusted. Just like, whatever. But I'm like, the male entitlement to care for themselves.
Yeah.
I see it everywhere. And I'm just asking women to get like a 10th of what they got.
Yeah.
Like men are like, oh, I'm going golfing with the guys this weekend. I did it, whatever. I don't know this whole golf thing, but like.
Someone should study that. That's a phenomenon.
What's that?
Someone should study that. That's a phenomenon, like the men in the golf thing. That's another subject.
I was in Telluride this like last week and staying at this like nice like golf resort thing, and I was like watching this group of men doing. I'm like, and I think the person I was with was like, are they like? Do you think their wives are at this spa? I'm like, they didn't come to this building with any wife. Trust you me. Like they're doing whatever the fuck golf thing this thing is, and they were all Telluride, Colorado. So like. All these dudes were like one, I could hear it in the voice. I'm like, that dude's he's in the Carolina. He's either north or south. That one's Texas. Like it was the Southern white men convention at the table and they were all doing their golf thing. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and it's like their excuse to like get away. Yeah. Because life is so stressful. And I'm like, and women will be like, I'm challenged with just like having a bath or fucking spending time alone or having a weekend or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I just want women to have like just a 10th of the entitlement and audacity. Yeah. Just 10th. And I think that would like really tip the scales a little if we got just a 10th. Now you want to go full blown 100, join my club. Like, let's all like, that's going to be my club. It's like what did I call it? The audacity and the entitlement. The Audacity Entitlement Club with Tamara Rose, where you get 100% of the audacity that men and the entitlement that men have. Like, that sounds great. I think I'll do it.
We'll create a new program just for that.
Just for that.
Yeah.
audacityandentitlement.com. Join us here.
We'll have to buy the domain. But I think it is interesting. One thing I found is that when we're born, we are born the opposite way of the thing that we need to learn almost. So like men are born and have this entitlement, and the thing to access their divinity is through compassion, community, emotion, devotion, if you will. And women are the opposite, where they're born with this connection, community, devotion, so much so that they need to learn to prioritize themselves, to have the audacity.
Yes. And I think that was Elizabeth Gilbert did a talk, and she was like, when religion was created, actually women weren't, they didn't let us read. We weren't part of anything. And so really the scripture and the structure was to talk to men about becoming selfless. Yeah. That was the message. And it wasn't, but like when women started getting in, it was like, oh, we feel like we need to become more selfless. No. Women need to anchor in our power, in the identity of the power, in the divine feminine access, into like your like particular purpose and pathway. And men will access that by becoming more selfless. And so, yeah, you're right. Like, it's a total flippy flu, right? Because we've had so many years inside of this, so many lineages, so many centuries of training that it's in the cells and it's in the DNA, and so it is wild. Like, men become more selfless, you will become more enlightened. Women and you could say selfish, but like more centered on yourself, you will become more enlightened. And this is like the path to matriarchy and the path to enlightenment and the path to the next evolution for humanity for sure.
Absolutely.
Soapbox.
And I think when people hear matriarchy, sometimes we've done an episode on this before, but when people hear matriarchy, they think putting a woman in charge the way a man is in charge in patriarchy, and that's not the case at all. It's not about a woman being selfish like a man and then only considering herself like a man only considers himself, because when a woman is in charge and she prioritizes herself, we see in other countries, we see in other studies in other communities that women take care of the entire community when they prioritize themselves. Women think about money differently. The money then flows to like all the different people.
Well, and it's been said, because a few people have like really built this out, and I respect like some of the thought processes that they're going through, which is like a matriarchal system focuses on the children, right? A patriarchal system actually focuses on man and consumerism. And so matriarchy is like female centered, but not just female centered, but like children centered. And so if you're children centered, you're going to have a different response to like what's happening in Gaza. If you're children centered, you're going to have a different response to homelessness in the United States or to the hunger crisis an issue. Because if you're focused on children, you're just going to start to take care of and eradicate those things. And so, and like a patriarchal system is a pyramid where we have to worship or honor the men. Like, how many times was I told that I need to respect my father? Like, my dad would just be like, you have to respect me. And I was like, what is this wild narrative? Like, you've done literally fuck all to earn anybody's respect, frankly, but like that's just what I'm supposed to do. And like that's what the church teaches, and that's what government teaches, and that's like, so the patriarchal structure is like man at top, respect man, right? And serve man and do what the man needs and do what the man sees and do what the man wants. And what is the man's perspective? Like, okay, then if you like, you could kind of flip it in a way. Okay. And so there's two ways to think about it. So first is like a circular system. And so a lot of people would be like, a matriarchy is actually a circular system where you have all the groups and all the structures and everything's accounted for, and there's collaboration, there's community, and women naturally think like that. So like something happens with my daughter at school, I don't just think about my daughter. This is when she was in school. She's not there anymore. I don't just think about my daughter. I think about all the kids. And I think about all the systems, and I think about what's serving them and what's not serving them very quickly, right? And then I go and have conversations with everybody that I could in the education process and realize they're not interested in that. That's not where they're functioning from. Whether they're man or woman, they're just not interested because the system is patriarchy, top down.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not man versus woman. It's just a top down system, right? So it could be a circular system. We could say that. So it's like communal and circular and thinking and everybody cared for and blah, blah, blah. But children are usually at the fundamental forefront of that. Like there was this, oh God, I just sent you this on social media. This guy was talking about an 11-year-old girl just got pregnant and had a baby. And at the hospital, they tested the DNA with her father. And he was the father of now his grandchild.
Oh my gosh, that makes me want to throw up.
Totally. And it was like the whole family, his mom, grandma across the street, everybody's defending this guy.
They're defending him.
Yeah, and the mom as well.
The mom is
everybody's defending the dude. And that's like, and for me, that's just like a normal patriarchal response with a man at the top. That's what keeps happening. So we're seeing it happening over and over and over again. If the child was centered, that would have never happened. It would have been nipped in the butt. He would have been locked up real quick. Like it would go like this if we were like children centered versus man at top centered, right? Now, one more perspective. we'll just take it one step further for our list. If we've gone too far, and now I'm about to enter in one more realm, right? Which is like, if you take that triangle and you almost flip it, right? Mm-hmm. But you flip it, and let's say women, children at the top, but let's say men are at the bottom. But not from the perspective of how we look at it now. Because how we look at it now, we want to praise somebody at the top and we want to think somebody at the bottom's less than. That's
like
also
a hierarchy.
Hierarchy is also involved in the structure. Versus if we have a structure, we would say, like, if men were at the bottom, they would be the foundation to support women and children. That's like a divine perspective. Not that they're less than, but like women, like this, and this was part of this conversation that I really, like, it nailed it, this content creator, because he was like, women actually are natural leaders because we think through the problems, we can solve it from all avenues and perspectives, right? We can give those solutions. Like, if you think of, again, I'll go back to Kamala Harris running for president or Marianne Williamson running for president. If y'all don't know who Marianne Williamson is, she, like, thought leader, spiritual teacher, and really out to heal all the issues in the United States so that we could move on to the next evolution. So if those people are leading, the thing is like, if they lead, it's not like they don't do anything. Every system and thing that I do, that I lead, I'm in there in the trenches getting my hands dirty doing it all. Like, that's the natural leading quality, right? And so we're naturally doing, and we're naturally leading, and we're naturally, like, but men have this greater capacity to just execute and do. And that becomes the foundation if they were to, like, surrender to it, right? And so I just thought that was a really fascinating way to look at it. Like, it's not a hierarchy. It's actually men now, like, doing what they say they've been doing, which is, like, provide and protect for the other humans in the structure. When in reality, what happened was they put themselves at the top. They're not providing and protecting nothing. Now we got to provide, we got to protect, we got to come up with a solution. We got to think through the thing. It's like, geez, like, women, if you're exhausted, I fucking get it, man. Jesus, me too.
Well, I like the way that you put that, where it's not hierarchy, but it's the foundational support. It's the actual definition of the provide and protect that they want to do, but not what they're actually currently doing. So I love the way you put that. Before we close out the episode for today, it sounds like, for me, my biggest takeaways that I've heard from you have been having a tenth of the audacity of a white man can make the biggest difference. And being able... I mean,
let's all do it.
Let's all do it. Let's just take that for the team.
Yes.
And being able to implement ways to prioritize yourself. If it's like a bath in the middle of the day, if it's like your new evening routine, to be able to, like, tend to yourself and your system, and little ways and little things that you can start implementing. Yeah. Is there anything else you would add for the listeners? Meditation.
Fucking straight. We have a free meditation series at the end of every podcast. I promote it. Why? More awareness, consciousness, expansion, and calmness for everybody around. Feel free to use that snippet. Meditate, be still, be calm, say no. Look, women, my kid comes in the middle of the bath, I'm a big fat no. Somebody wants my time and it's not what I say, like, it doesn't work for me, I'm a no. Like, no can be one of the most freeing things you can do. And if you're around somebody and they don't like your no, get rid of them. Who the fuck cares? So that was a wild turn, wasn't it?
Tamara's a redhead. You're gonna expect some redhead comebacks once in a while.
There's some feistiness. Just fucking, like, whatever. If they don't like your no, fuck, move on.
Life's short anyway.
On the planet.
Yeah. All right. With that, we will close out the episode for today. Tamara, thank you for being on with me. Listeners, thank you for staying with us till the end. Until next time, keep making magic, y'all.